Hey, what's going on? It's Joey from the Hitting Performance Lab. What's up, Mr. KB? Alright, so let's take a look at this little 7-year-old of yours. I wanted to look at the tee swing first, just to see when the ball is stable in a constant position and how his swing is. Now I'm just going to put it in slow motion. This would be good for him to check out. I don't know if you guys do a lot of slow motion analysis and let him watch himself, but this is kind of cool when kids for the first time see this swing. I'm going to loop it and see if you guys see anything different or anything that, like I said, if you see motion analysis software, you can check this out if you work with it. We'll go one more. So you guys are working on forward momentum, which is a good thing. That's probably a reason why he's got more consistent power than probably a lot of his teammates. You don't see a lot of younger hitters doing this. Alright, so let's take a look at this in slow motion. Now, like I said, we got a little open stance, not too bad. I don't mind that, just as long as it's for a good reason. A lot of times for athletes, they want to be able to get both eyes on the ball. The one thing that I'd like to see is when we're hitting off the tee, I want to see my hitters pick up the pitcher out here first, and then as they go into their swing, almost tilt their head and their nose to where they're picking this incoming ball coming in on this downward plane. So instead of staring at that ball the whole time, I want him to stare out at the pitcher, act like there's a pitcher out there, and then pick up the ball as if it were coming in to see it. We want to make this as realistic as possible, and a lot of times it's hard for young players to take from a good swing from the tee or soft toss out to the field because we're so concerned with this ball here laying on the tee. Soft toss is a little different, but at least off the tee, we're going to do a lot of tee work in his lifetime, and we have to do that right. So making sure he's staring out at the pitcher first. So that's good. His setup seems to look okay. You guys have definitely put some work in here. He's got see you guys using this crack here probably for the forward momentum stuff, which is good, and looks like his setup's decent there. Hands look good. Aside from that, let's take a look at his vision. So by the time his front heel hits the ground, which is about right there, let's see, okay, so about right there, I'm going to draw a circle around his head and see how he does with his head movement. And we should see his head stay in that circle the whole time. Now, as you can see, it moves forward, which is going to make the ball seem a little faster to him. And a lot of that can be cleaned up with this front leg. You can see this front leg is bending quite a bit and during the swing, and this should be a time where that front leg straightens. And it makes it easier to straighten that leg with forward momentum. But getting back into that snapping towel position, I call it snapping towel, the swing, whereas you go forward or you throw the end of the towel out and then you snap it back to get that whip from the towel or from the swing, get that whip in the zone. So getting him to straighten that front leg would help his head to stay in this bubble a little bit better and have a little better vision. And I mean, something a little bit more technical but can make a big difference is it looks like his head his chin comes to his chest a little bit, which actually is not good when it comes to athletes doing anything where it involves any kind of dynamic motion, where this spine goes from his hip right here through and his head's kind of falling forward. I have a couple hitters that do this, so when we do dry run swing stuff, I'll make sure that their head sits back and that so instead of being forward, that their head just kind of relaxes in a good neutral position. That's kind of technical, but it's something you can work on in the mirror. And then, now you guys don't have to fix all this stuff at once. I'm just giving you an evaluation. But the other thing, he's getting good forward momentum. I call this front foot the gas pedal and this back foot the brake pedal. So we want to push the gas pedal, but in order to get anywhere, we have to take our foot off the brake as well. And we're not doing that. We're just kind of leaving that foot back there, anchoring it, and it's anchoring his back hip and not allowing him to get through the ball. But just on the lower half, that's what I see on polishing up a little bit. And then upper half stuff tends to correct when we get the lower half, once we get the forward momentum. And he's not doing much catapult loading system stuff with his upper half, but I always suggest getting him good with his lower half first and his forward momentum before we start working on spine angles and different things like that. It's when the fun really begins, when we really see the upper body come through, because the swing is a spine torso swing. All power comes from the spine and the torso, and getting the catapult loading system stuff in gear will help to get rid of a little bit of an arm bar here and knob to ball type position. He's good and strong with his back arm, but he's a little straight with this front arm. But like I said, forward momentum and doing forward momentum correctly, and weighting this bat and the catapult loading system will help with that. Now we're up quickly. Let's take a look at the soft toss. Now Kirk, Mr. Man, this is pretty cool that you're able to hold the phone and do soft toss at the same time. Oh my goodness. So I can tell, yeah. And one thing with soft toss, I know you're doing like 3 different things at once, so it's tough, but see if you can get a tripod next time, just a cheapie, and set it down so you don't have to be holding the phone and doing all this at the same time. But see if you can get a tripod to set the phone on there. And what you want to do when you toss, you don't want the hitter to be looking up. You can see there that he's looking up at the ball, whereas when we hit normally, you want to throw it from almost his shoelace, like the release points around the shoelace, and then it'll end up coming at him this way, coming at him about hip level or whatnot. But throwing it up almost makes it unrealistic when we're actually trying to hit a live pitch. But I'm seeing the same stuff from the tee. I always like to see a moving ball, because sometimes things change, compensations happen. But so I'm seeing the similar stuff, just a little bit more armbar action, knob to ball, and a little bit more down position where he rolls over there. But other than that, I mean, he looks good. I mean, he's definitely ahead of his time. 7 years old, being able to do this stuff. His swing looks pretty good for a 7-year-old. Obviously, he's still developing movement-wise, and he's got definitely some polishing up, and has that development gonna have to work for him as he gets older and kind of matures into his high school and college years. But looks good, man. Good job. And if you got any questions on this, just let me know. But that's the evaluation. I think definitely good stuff to work with, and as long as he puts the hard work in, he's going to get some good results. So anyway, KB, thanks, and I appreciate it. We'll talk to you later.